Hey everybody, this is the last lesson for decimals and fractions practice questions. There's 4 pages. I did each of one as a separate lesson, and this is the last page, which is page 259. Okay, so let us get started after making this a little larger, of course. Okay, a survey shows that 2/3 of all homeowners have a pet. Of those, 3/4 have either a dog or a cat. Of the homeowners surveyed, what fraction has either a dog or a cat? So this one here, we need to multiply. So 2/3 of homeowners have pets, and of those, 3/4 have a dog or a cat. So 2 times 3 is 6. Well, let's put equals here. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 4 is 12. 6 over 12. We also know that 6 over 12 equals a half, because when the top number is half of the bottom number, always equals a half. Okay? So your answer is 1/2. As you can see here, A is the correct one. Okay. So at Wyman Shipping, 140 employees work during the day shift. At night, the crew is 2/5 the size of the day shift. How many workers are scheduled to work the night shift? So let's do this. There's 140 that work the day shift. Okay. And we need to times that by the percentage that work the night shift, which is 2/5. 140 work the day shift. 2/5 of that work the night shift. So we need to turn this into a fraction. How we keep the 140 value is just put a 1 under it. Then this fraction here means that there's 140. Okay, so we'll try and see if we can cancel before, and we can cancel because 5 does go into 140. 5 goes into 140 28 times, so we cross that out, make it a 28. Cross this out, make it a 1. So we've brought both of these to their lowest forms, okay? Canceling is quite helpful because instead of at the end reducing the fraction, you just reduce it like this, then you will automatically get the reduced answer. So 2 times 28, 56, and we know 1 times 1 times 1 equals 1, and anything over 1 is the value of the top number. So 56 is your answer. Okay, so the night shift, which is 2/5 of the day shift, equals 56 people. Okay, let's see if there is an option for 56 here. Yes, there is, so B is your answer. Okay, now we're going to question 25. Okay, we'll look at this little graph here. So question 25 refers to the following map. Excuse me. So the map below shows the distance in miles between 4 stores. So like for example, between A and B is 2.4 miles. Okay, Maya drives a van that delivers supplies to each of the stores on Friday. She traveled the following route. Okay. Let me read that again because I feel like the tense wasn't correct. Maya drives a van that delivers supplies to each of the stores. On Friday, she traveled the following route. Okay, so, or you could possibly say routes, thinking that these could be separate routes that she did on Friday. Or if she did them consecutively, I guess that would be one route. But okay, so for example, if we need to see, the question is how many miles did she drive in all? So we know that we'll need to add these miles up, okay? Because for example, store A to B is 2.4. Store B to C is 4.3. Store C to D is, let's see, 3.6. Store D to C is the same, 3.6. And store C to A here is 4.0. And in case you didn't really realize what I was doing, I was just looking at the map, okay? Let me bring something up real quick to highlight my pointer. Here we go. So this is where I'm getting this information from, in case you don't know. See 2.4, which is store A to B. This is what I'm doing. Store A to B. Okay, it shows right here that it's 2.4 miles. Then we see store B to C, which is right here, is B to C 4.3 miles. Okay, which is this one here. So just keep doing that. C to D, etc. C to D 3.6, which is what I put here. Okay, so on and so forth. Okay, so this is pretty much simple addition. With addition, you always keep the decimal place. If it's one space over, then you would keep it just one space over in the answer. You can see these are all one space over. Okay. Um, let's see. So we'll add these up. 4 plus 3 is 7. Plus 6 is 13. Plus another 6 is 19. Carry the 1. Put down the 9. Then add these up. 2 plus 4 is 6. Plus 1, 7. Plus 3 is 10. Plus another 3, 13. Plus 4 is 17. So, in times tables, if you're multiplying, you would calculate, okay, there's 5 numbers here, and each one of them has decimal. So you would add up that there's 5 decimals, and there's 5 numbers. So for each number here that you see, you would move the decimal over 5 times. So you would count from back here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Obviously it won't work here because there's not enough numbers. But with addition, you don't move them over depending on the amount of numbers that you're calculating. You just see they're all in the same place here. They're basically to the right. There's only 1/10. So you just keep it here. There's only 1/10 to the right of this decimal as well. So your answer is, as you can see here in number 25, 17.9. Okay. Okay, next question, which is 26. From a wooden dowel, 12.5 feet long, Jamie cut 2 pieces, each 3 3/4 feet long. How long in feet is the remaining piece? So what we need to do here is first calculate the 2 times 3 and 3/4, okay? Because let's read that again. From a wooden dowel, 12.5 feet long, Jamie cut 2 pieces. 2 pieces he cut was 3 3/4 feet long, okay? So removing that times 2, 3 3/4 times 2, how long in feet is the remaining piece? So let's see, 3 and 3/4, we need to add these. We could do 2 times 3 3/4, or just add them. Or you could do 2 times 3.75, since we know 3/4 equals 75 in the decimal equivalency. So we need these, okay, we need to turn these into, no we don't, that's fine just the way it is. So, let me see, which number is 26? I'm trying to decide what it, okay, we added this last time. Okay, so 3 plus 3, I couldn't remember if it was addition or subtraction. So 3, let me just put this here as a little reminder. 3 plus 3 is 6 over 4. And 3 plus 3 is 6. Okay, so now we need to reduce it. This improper fraction means we can get a 1 out of this number somewhere. So we'll put, 4 goes into 6 one time with 2 left over. So we add the 1 to the 6 here. And we make it a 7. Since there's 2 left over, it's 2 over 4. Anytime there's top number is half of the bottom number, we can be further reduced to half. Okay? Even though this means half as well, they still want us to reduce it to its lowest terms. So 7.5 is the amount that was cut from the 12.5 feet long. Okay? So now we need to minus this amount from the 12.5 feet. So since we already have this 7.5 set up, I'm just going to use that. So 12.5. We see the denominators are already the same, 2 and 2, so we don't need to do anything there. So, 0, 1 minus 1 is 0 over 2, which makes this nothing, insignificant. 12 minus 7 is 5. Okay, so your answer is 5. Okay, think of it like that. See, is there an option? Yes, there is. So, out of 12.5 feet long, he cut out 7.5 feet, and he has 5 feet, which is right here, remaining. Okay, let's clear this canvas. Now we are on 27, number 27. Okay. So, Lewis bought 20 shares of stock priced at $26.38 per share. He also paid an $8 transaction fee. How much did he pay? So let's do, there's 2 calculations we need to do. One is 20. So he bought 20 shares and they were priced at $26 and yeah, oh shucks. Shucks a diddly, if that's a word. Okay, $26.38. 38 cents. I'm going to move this 20 over here just for organization's sake and see where we're actually at. So we need to times that. See what he paid total for those shares. That's a 0, by the way. My zeros suck because I'm using a mouse pad. Okay, so you know 0 times 0 is anything. So 0 times all, we go ahead and put 4 zeros. 0, 0, 0. We'll put decimal point there. So 2 times 8 is, actually we don't need to put decimal there, but whatever. 2 times 8 is 16. 16, we carried the 1. 2 times 3 is 6, plus the 1 is 7. 2 times 6 is 12, so we carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus the 1 is 5. So we have 0 minus 0 is 0. Sorry, I'm adding these together, not subtracting. So 6 plus 0 is 0. So since these are all plus 0, you can just bring the actual number, whole numbers down. And then see how this is two numbers here, and this total combined is 2 places over. So down here we'll move it 2 places over to from the imaginary last place here. So $527.60 is what he paid for the shares. Plus there was a transaction fee. So we'll add that to this number here because the transaction fee was $8. So we add $8 to $527.60, which makes it $535.60. So that was pretty easy. That's your answer there. Basic math. Okay, and does that coincide here? Yes, on 27 you see $535.60 as an option, so we know that's correct. Okay, clear the canvas. 2 more to go, guys. So number 28. A mat board is 60 inches wide. How many strips measuring 0.75 inches wide can be cut from the board? Assume no waste from the cuts. So it needs to be an even number, or if it's not an even number, then write everything down. And if there's any remainders or anything. So what we need to do here is divide this. How many times does 0.75 go into 60? Then that will be our answer. So 75.75 into 60. So with division, you can't divide a decimal or a whole number by a decimal. Okay, so we need to make this a whole number. However many spaces you push this over here, which is 2 spaces to make this a whole number. Now it's 75. That's how many zeros we add here. Okay, so 75 goes into 60. No, it doesn't. 75 goes into 600 8 times. 8 times 75 is 600. Oh, terrible zero. Okay, screw that. Let's redo that. So 6, 0, 0. So 600 minus 600 is 0. How many times does 75 go into 0? It does not. So you have to bring down this 0 to make it larger. Unfortunately, it still does not go in there. 75 goes into 0 again, 0 times. So now we bring up the 0. And there's no more calculation to do. So your answer is 80. So a mat board is 60 inches wide. How many strips measuring 0.75 inches wide can be cut from the board? So 80 strips can be cut from that board. Last one. On his take home pay each month, Jerry spends 1/6 on a car payment and 1/4 on food. What fraction of his take home pay is left? Excuse me guys, I was yawning. So what fraction of his take home pay is left after paying for these two items? Okay, so what we need to do is add these together. There'll be two calculations we need to do. 1/6 is for the car. It would be easier if they said 1/6 is for the car. Well, I guess they couldn't necessarily do that. I was going to say 1/6 for the car and then however many, well, let's see, 6, yeah, that wouldn't work. You can't really come up with the same amount. I was meaning if both the denominators were the same, but then you would get a different calculation. Okay, so 1/6 is for the car payment, and 1/4 is for food. So adding those together, we actually need to, for subtraction and addition, denominators need to be the same, so the number that both of them go into is 12. 4 goes into 12 3 times, so we need a 3 times the 1 there, which make it a 3, or 3 times the numerator. 6 goes into 12 2 times, so we need to multiply the numerator by 2, so 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, so now we can add. 2 plus 3 is 5 over 12. Okay, so let's see. This is the fraction of what he takes home. Okay, so let's assume that 1 is the actual number that you're subtracting from. Since we know it takes 12 to make 1, then we do this. 12 over 12. Okay, 12 over 12 minus 5 over 12. Okay, so minus 12 minus 5 is 7. And then we bring down the denominator. So 7/12 is your answer, folks. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope it helped. I'll be making another video. The next one on the list is in regards to ratios and proportions. So see you in that video. If you liked it, please like. If you want to see my future videos, just subscribe and share if you know anybody that is actually doing the GED or is interested in just learning, the foundational math in general. Because I do go through all the math in the GED, and it's pretty fundamental stuff, but very important. Anyways, later.